Welcome back to Blacktown International Sports Park for the final game of the triple header. It is the Gold Coast Suns Academy taking on the Northern Territory Academy. So we take a look at the Gold Coast Suns side for this final match here at Blacktown International Sports Park. Gold Coast Suns participating in the Academy Series along with the Northern Territory over the next 5 weeks in the NAB League competition. It's Division 2 of the Under-18 Championship, so it does count for something for these 6 sides that we've been watching in action today. There's Tasmania, the odd one out in a way this weekend, given that they will be a part of the fixture full-time in the NAB League in 2019. As we take a look now at the Northern Territory Thunder.
Now there's a couple of names that have caught our eye there, Matthew. Matthew Cumming, number 36, and number 35, Stephen Cumming, of course, played with the Dandenong Stingrays last year, the two brothers, at 199 centimetres. Now with the Northern Territory, so that's a big move, and they'll be a real force. They're two big lads and stand out, don't they? Usually play in the ruck or centre half back, both of them. It'll be interesting to see where they line up today for the Northern Territory Thunder.
Stevens in the ruck. He's prowling the centre circle there like Crackers Keenan, ready to champ at it.
Definitely imposed himself when he played for the Stingrays last year. Final game here at Blacktown International Sports Park. Rick, get us underway.
Sun shining here at Blacktown.
False start.
And we've got a bit of whistle action there. And up they go. And knocked away nicely by the Suns player in Conroy there. They get it to ground. Already get a couple of possessions there. And work it wide, the Suns. Right in front of us, Paul O.A. gets it down towards centre half forward. And an intercept mark there by the Territory. And O.A. gets it.
I think it's Paul O.A.'s his whole surname. 2 words.
That's going to
Huago.
And he'll play on. Been impressive already with a couple. Gets it out in front of Salisbury. Overcooks it, and they'll swing it back towards goal and have a shot towards goal, but good defence there by Northern Territory, the NT Thunder, and we'll have a ball up in the forward pocket. So we've got Stephen coming in the ruck, gets the front posse, taps it down. No clear winner here. Heavy tackling, and we'll have a ball up. We're about 25 out. Suns attacking. Scoreboard side of the ground. Palm down was read nicely there by Crossley. And we'll have a ball up. Bit of a stalemate in that pocket. I'll flip it out, and ball was lost in the confusion there, and we'll have a shot on goal, and just went across for a behind for the first score of the match. Gold Coast Suns Academy 1 behind. Northern Territory no scorers yet.
Michael Salisbury was the point kicker for the Gold Coast Suns. Only 170 centimetres and 70 kilos, so not much of him. As the Northern Territory Thunder go down along the line, Peugeot Jr. just coughed it up. Opportunity now for Johnston for the Suns. Gets it to Broderick, the captain of the Suns. Paula Hay goes inboard. Here's Davis. Free player at centre half forward, just out of the grasp of Pescardu's got the ball now on the half forward flank, outer side of the ground. Kick coming inboard. Mark is taken by Matthew Fraser on the 45-degree angle, about 40 metres out he took that mark. searching for the first major in this third match of the triple header here at Blacktown, will fall short. The breeze working against him on that occasion. That's picked up in the last hour or so here at Blacktown. Northern Territory looked it clear through Foster, turned it over. Crossley kicks it back inside, attacking 50 offline. Minor score. 2 behinds the Gold Coast Suns, doing all the attacking early.
So the Thunder will play on, and wind's causing a bit of havoc at the moment. And that ball screwed around the corner, and the ball was spilled on the goal line. And we'll have another kick in. They'll play on straight away. It'll find the hands of Butterick. He'll kick from the back pocket for the Northern Territory Thunder. Just in the goal square, and they'll work it around. Ball breaks free, out of sight of the ground. O'Connell gets it across, and they'll work it back inboard, and he's got support through Ferreira. Ferreira at half back. He'll chip it wide, overcooks it, and out of bounds it goes. So getting their hands on the footy deep, Northern Territory, just got to use it a little bit better. So Conroy up against Cumming in the ruck. 2 big units. Falls free and lands with Davies, who plays on straight away up towards centre half forward. A nice grab. So the Gold Coast are lining up from about 50 metres out. Just trying to spot that player.
I think it might be Harrison Rowles.
He'll kick from 49 metres. So the breeze is a bit swirly at the moment, but it'll be interesting to watch this one. It goes very right. Just took it out of bounds on the full. And we'll play on from full back. Scoreboard side of the ground. They won't want to be too pretty at the moment. Really swirly out there. And ball goes over the back and out of bounds it goes.
Wind starting to play havoc here at Blacktown International Sports Park.
Tend to be favouring that east side.
It does, as I'd like to welcome to the commentary box, joining us for this first term action, the AFL Talent and Competitions Manager, Marcus Ashcroft. Welcome, Marcus.
Good afternoon, gents. Thanks for having me.
Nice day, well, it's turned out to be here at Blacktown International Sports Park.
Beautiful day now. Very wet and soggy this morning, but yeah, as you just said, it's turned out to be a beautiful, dry, sunny day.
We were wondering on the way out here how Game 3 would be with the way the rain was early. And yeah, it's been drying conditions, but now the wind's starting to add another element to the game. It's tricky conditions out there at the moment, but there's an opportunity here for the Gold Coast, and that was through Reeves, who puts it through, and that's the first goal of the game. The Gold Coast Suns doing all the attacking, 1-3-9. Northern Territory yet to score.
Tell us a bit about your role, Marcus. What's it entitle you to?
Yeah, it's a great role. I really enjoy being part of the AFL now after being in clubland for almost 30 years. So good to get a broader perspective of the game and more particular the talent pathway. So my role, or core part of it, is to make sure that all the pathways throughout the country are aligned and I guess in a consistent fashion, so we can give our kids the best opportunity to reach their optimum and hopefully get drafted one day. But as we know, not all kids do get drafted, so we want to give them the best chance to transition out of footy.
And not all areas are equal in their conditions or the ability to, like we said, the challenges around ground availability as well. And how do you manage those challenges?
Yeah, they're becoming increasingly difficult, especially with the women and the facilities and the grounds we need for those guys. So from a national point of view, we're trying to be as integrated as we can. We've got a new national female talent manager in Sophia Samatsis, who just joined us recently. So at a national level, we want to be as integrated as we can with the girls, and at the same time, try and provide some consistency. So the players coming through, whether they be male or female, know exactly what pathways are on offer for them, and we try and give them the best chance we can to reach their best.
Bit of a change up this year too in terms of the splitting of the 5 areas now, with obviously Vic Metro, Vic Country, the Allies squad. How have you seen that roll out in the initial phase?
Well, it's been a great initiative, I think, firstly to have the courage to break it out and again give more opportunities to kids, boys initially, and that'll no doubt spread out to girls. But as what's been in the past, there's been the best 25 kids at under 18 and under 17 national level, which is 50 kids in total. We're broadening it out to 150. So there's 30 kids in each statewide hub. Obviously the Allies have 5 states within them, but to give 150 kids an elite elevated training experience, so when they get to their 18th year, they're as best prepared as they can be to transition to hopefully AFL footy.
Paul just at half-back here with the Suns player Alex Davies. Deciding to kick very long. Nice kick off the boot. Over the top it goes. We've got OA, who's been very elusive early, and he delivers the ball beautifully out in front. And Gold Coast Suns take the mark.
Connor Gooderick there, the skipper.
So
there's a flashy bit of play there from Paul O'A.
Better known as Ace.
Ace.
To his teammates and those that know him quite well. He's had some great experience at this level over the last 2 years, as has Connor. Both boys played on grand final day in the Futures game, which is the best 17-year-old kids in the country. We have a game before the main game on grand final day where the best 50 kids play against each other. So those two experienced that last year.
So where's your main base, Marcus? Where are you?
At head office in Victoria.
Yep.
So my initial 10 months in the role, I was travelling back and forth to Queensland. But this year we made a decision to relocate the whole family down to Victoria. So we've been there for the last 2 months, and the kids are in school and really enjoying Melbourne life.
Bit of a difference to Queensland in terms of climate as well.
Yeah, so far so good. It's been a warm summer down in Melbourne, but no doubt once we get past Easter, the winter chill will come in. But I think it's a great place to be when you're a sporting family, as we are, and there's so many different things you can invest your time into down in Victoria. So we're looking forward to it.
Kick comes wide here. Patrick takes the mark, centre wing on the outer side for the Northern Territory Thunder. Yet to impact the scoreboard. Long ball towards half forward. Comes off hands. Bit of a scrap and then rolls over the line and out of play. What's the ultimate goal while you're in this position? What would you like to see most over the next couple of years?
I think from my point of view and where the AFL wants to take the game at the national pathway level, it's to be able to provide increased opportunity. And again, we've invested heavily in the boys program to roll out these hubs in each state. We want to give that a couple of years to really embed into the states and into the regions and local communities. And at the same time, we'd love to then roll it out through the girls program. Because we really do believe that when you give boys and girls increased exposure to an elevated level, and with all those hubs, we're finding that the resources available to us at AFL clubs by way of facilities and personnel is the best you can get, and our guys are getting exposure to that. So I think if we can keep increasing that level of opportunity, then I think it would be continue to be the number one pathway within the country around sporting codes.
Ball thumped forward for Northern Territory, and a big mark at centre half forward. Nicely taken out in front by Wade Dirksen, who'll kick from around about the 50. So it'll be interesting to see if this is a bit of a right to left kick.
Nice, good grab. First entry inside 50, I think, for the Northern Territory Thunder.
So he'll be kicking from just on 50, and it does go a bit left, so that wind's significant across the ground at the moment. to the outer side it's blowing towards. And Gold Coast will attack that way. You would think the best attacking position would be grandstand side. And they'll work it forward to Brumley. Over the top it goes. Gold Coast with numbers out wide. Turning around was Rolls. He gets it down towards half forward and out in front. There's a mark. And they'll centre it. It's a 2-on-1. And the 2 usually wins. But they get back and help out the Suns. And forward pressure was excellent on that occasion. Play-on's a call. Kick was smothered. Northern Territory just throwing it on the boot there. But they get it out of the danger for the moment. Suns again. Thump it inside 50. Up they go. Outer side. Scoreboard side. And they'll chip it out towards centre wing. Ball still in dispute. But it ends up in the Territory's hands and out of bounds it goes.
It's a bit of an arm wrestle here, Marcus, isn't it?
Yeah, that breeze is really creating havoc for the players, and it's very, very strong to the outer wing. So I think both teams need to maybe reassess the way they move the ball through the middle of the ground and maybe take a more direct approach through the middle.
This kick comes inboard. Thunder with ball in their possession. They go forward. Nice little grab there taken by Tyson Woods. Wanted to feed the handball. It was the right intention, poorly executed. Suns under siege at half-back. Hurry kick from Dirksen inside 50, no good.
How do these two academies shape up compared to the what we've seen so far today with your Sydney academies?
Well, Gold Coast are obviously similar to the other 3 AFL club academies in the Giants, Swans and the Lions. The Swans had a great win this morning in a really tough encounter against Tassie, and then the Lions were really impressive just previously when they kicked a lot of goals in the second half to really get away from the Giants. So I think the Gold Coast have similar facilities with regard to resourcing with AFL coaches at their disposal, and also the facilities are now at a level equal to anyone in the league. So when you have those things as a starting point, you then trust your people to run a good program, and I think the Suns are as good as the other 3 AFL clubs.
The Thunder are in a very unique position, aren't they, given that they don't have a full-time AFL club in their area, similar to Tasmania in a way, but the advantage they have over Tassie is the NEFL side.
That's right, and they got their challenges obviously logistically. They're very spread out. They have a lot of good players in Darwin, a lot of good players in Alice Springs, and that in itself is a massive travel commitment. But Wally Gallio does a great job being able to look after all the boys up there, and their pathway is through the NEFL team in the Thunder. But for these boys to get some exposure to the talent, whether it be on the eastern seaboard with the AFL academies or down in the heartland of Victoria, it's a long way to get there. So you try and put your program in a position where they can get that exposure, but it's always that balance.
What about talent identification up there in the Territory? Have they got it covered? Are they, well and truly got it covered with the vast spaces and that they've got to cover?
I think wouldn't say they've got it covered. It's a lot of place to cover, but it is a challenge. I think the opportunities are getting more and more, and that's all you can really try and put in place is people that are able to give those opportunities to boys and girls, and then the challenge is to be able to provide enough resource, enough training venues, and enough opportunity for those boys and girls to get an elevated training experience. So that's always front of mind for Wally, I know that, and he's doing a pretty good job at the moment.
And it's a unique setup too, given that their season runs over the summer months up there. So again, is there a full-time competition during the winter that these young guys can go back to once this Academy Series finishes?
They have their local clubs, as do the other states, but it's a balance between maybe playing some games over the summer months through their local competition, then starting up through the Academy Series, then actually progressing on to the national championships through the middle of the year, and then with all of that, you've got to try and juggle club footy. So that's always going to be a challenge, and you try and prioritise training sessions and games the players will play in, because we don't want to burn them out. We want to make sure it's still fun and they still want to come along and enjoy their footy. But again, you still come back to that number one issue, and that's the logistics of getting around the state.
Ball trapped in the forward pocket here for the Thunder at the moment, trying to work it out of there, just inside 50. But Gold Coast with the numbers, get it out of there. Kicking to the middle part of the ground, good spoil over the back. It's into open territory if the hands are right here, but it wasn't taken. Now it's back at half-back for Gold Coast. They're paddling it forward through Ferreria, Northern Territory. Just not enough around the footy at the minute. And the Gold Coast Suns Academy should clear here. Got a choice of options out there. And they get it out in front of Salisbury, who takes the mark at centre wing. He's looking to be creative here. And he goes back inboard, which is a dangerous ploy, but it works out nicely as Davies finds Dawson, who kicks it inboard, and they should be able to repel here, but it's been pinched, and we've got a little dribble kick at goal. Terrific play there by Fraser. What a great intercept there, and showed a lot of poise to just dribble it onto the boot and put it through for a goal, as the Thunder looked like they were off there, but the Gold Coast Suns now move on to 2-5-17 to the Northern Territory, one behind.
Bit of an excitement machine down there, Fraser.
Did well.
They've got some exciting players, the Suns, and a lot of these boys have been in the program for 5 or 6 years, which is the advantage of having your own academy. You identify them at around 10 or 11 years of age, get them along to the club as often as you can in the early years, and then when they get to 15, 16, 17, and now their 18th year, they're full-time in the program. And there's some boys here that will put their hand up during the year and in the latter part of the season when the representative games are on. These guys are all eligible for the Allies team, which is coached by our national coach in Luke Power. So if you look at the whole day, there's about 140 kids that'll play today and over the next 5 weeks. And out of that, a squad of 50 will get picked, and then that'll get trimmed down to a team of 25 in the middle part of the year, which will then go up against the other Division 1 states. So it's a well-defined pathway and program, but the academy teams certainly have an advantage where they've been training together for a number of years and full-time over the last 6 months.
And from what we've seen today, they're going to have a pretty nice little squad selected by the end of it, aren't they?
Oh, no doubt. And I know Luke Power's here today. He's very excited by the talent he's seen, and he's visited most of the academies over the last month and the rest of the states to, I guess, have a look at the talent initially. But today I think there's been some great examples of players that show some real AFL attributes. Yep. And they'll only get better as the year progresses, and once they get to the Allies mid-year, I know Luke's excited about being able to give those guys a great experience and hopefully a winning experience.
Your previous life at the Gold Coast Suns, how heavily involved were you with the academy and that oversight?
I think in the early days I had a huge involvement with it because we had to set it up from scratch, but a bit like the footy club. It was all a first-time thing for all of us, and to be able to set up the academy from the start was a great experience and something that you're proud of at the time. And to see some of these boys that were there as 12, 13, 14-year-old kids, it gives you a bit of pride to see them come to their 18th year with a chance of hopefully playing with the Gold Coast Suns senior team. But the way the whole academy programs at all the AFL clubs has grown is great for the game, and just shows where the AFL has come in the last 10 years and the eliteness that players now have at their disposal.
So we've got Harrison Rowles lining up for goal in the last few minutes of this opening term here at Blacktown International Sports Park. He's threaded the needle, that one, Harrison Rowles, 189 centimetres and 84 kilos he stands at.
Excellent kick that. Just allowed enough for that breeze to bring it around, but penetrating kick. excellent delivery.
Suns have skipped out to a 21-point lead, closing in on quarter time. Marcus Ashcroft, the AFL Talent and Competitions Manager, joining us in the commentary box for this first quarter of the final game in the triple header today. So things have obviously changed a lot since you were going through at an underage level, obviously for the better. But just explain your story going back all those years ago.
Yeah, I guess for me, it's a long time ago now, and most of these boys coming through here wouldn't even remember it's that far ago. But I came through.
Well, it was a nice little goal there. Sorry to cut you off there, Marcus. Cooper getting the goal there from the Northern Territory Thunder, and a badly needed one for them going into the quarter-time change.
I started back with local footy club, the Southport Sharks, which is really well known, and a lot of kids out here today are coming through the Southport Sharks junior pathway. And then back in the day when the Bears started, there was a zone of players. If you played on the Gold Coast, then you were given an opportunity to train a pre-season with the Bears, and I did that along with a few of my teammates who are still mates now, and we were lucky enough to be put on a rookie list the following year, and I guess from there spent a number of years at Carrara, which looks totally different to what it was back then now, and then obviously moved to the Gabba after the first 6 years of existence down at Carrara. And the Gabba, I think now is, you know, a great stadium, a great place to watch footy, and it's good to see the Lions playing so well in round one. Hopefully they can continue on over the next few weeks. But for me, there was no really defined pathway. It was just you came on, you play with your local junior club. Lucky enough that an AFL club came into existence way back then, and then from there I was just lucky enough to be given an opportunity.
As the siren sounds to conclude this opening term of action, there'll be no further addition to the score. So the Suns lead at quarter time, 3-5-23 to 1-2-8. Just before we let you go, Marcus, the next couple of months for you, what do they look like?
It's getting around and watching the talent we're seeing today over the next few weeks. The Academy Series runs for the next 4 weeks as part of the broader NAB League. So there'll be a lot more games up in Queensland, which I'll get to. And then once we progress through that stage, we get into the representative season part, and the national championships are on the Gold Coast through July for the under-16s, and then before that the under-18 championships are played throughout the country to give as much exposure as we can. And so a lot of footy between now and the end of July, when these boys get a great opportunity to showcase their talent.
Thank you very much for joining us up here in the commentary box for the first quarter. Appreciate your insight,
pleasure, guys,
and telling us a few stories as well.
No problems at all. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much.
Great to have you, Marcus.
No worries.
All the best.
Marcus Ashcroft there, the AFL Talent and Competitions Manager. We'll take a break here at quarter time. Blacktown International Sports Park. It's the Suns, 3-5-23, leading the Northern Territory 1-8.
I'm down on the ground with Wally Gallagher, the Northern Territory Talent Manager. Can you please explain to us what the talent pathway is like in the Northern Territory?
Yeah, it's pretty similar than other states. We start sort of with our primaries and our Thunder Juniors and our competition throughout the Northern Territory. 2 main training centres, one in Darwin, one in Alice Springs, and then we've got remote programs. We've got not talent managers, but remote managers that go around and they live and work on community, and they give us feedback on players. And then we got 12s, and we got 15 schoolboys, and both male and female, and then we got 16s, 18 male and female, and then we got lucky enough to have a team in the NEFL and also one in the VFLW. So our pathway's pretty set, and then we got the agreement with the Crows for the next couple of years, where they sort of, our NT players go on the SA-based draft for the AFLW.
And what's your role within the scheme of the talent pathways?
I'm talent pathways manager, so that means I'll look after the sort of 12 to 19-year-olds, and Andrew Hodges, who's our NT Thunder manager, he looks after the VFLW and NEFL team.
First game in the NAB League today. Did you prepare any differently than you would any other game?
It's been a little bit different this year. Our season finished 2 weeks ago, so it's a lot earlier for us than normal. But yeah, we just got to find our feet a bit in this match and get together and get used to the bigger body running at us.
And lastly, who are some players that have really stood out to you and some for the viewers to keep a lookout for at home?
I think that Morris Rioli Jr. is going to be okay. Young Braith Hodges, who's only a 17-year-old, so both our 17-year-olds in that aspect. And then we got the Cumming boys that played for us last year that come from Victoria to give us a bit of height and a bit of strength. But we're pretty equally matched. We've got a pretty young side. We've got more 17-year-olds than we have 18-year-olds. So, we've sort of taken the fact of making sure that we develop our players for the next couple of years at this level.
Thanks for your time and good luck for the rest of the Academy series.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to Siobhan down there on the boundary, and it's a rotating panel of guests at the moment here on the NAB League coverage through the official app, NAB League, downloaded at the App Store or Google Play Store. I'd like to welcome to the commentary box now Queensland talent manager Mark Browning. Pleasure to have you up here.
Yeah, good afternoon, guys. What a great day of footy.
Perfect conditions it's turned out to be now. Now explain to us a bit about your role. You're the talent manager up in Queensland.
Yeah, been there for a long time, probably too long, and a few people might say, but no, I was just listening to Marcus, and probably I'm a layer under Marcus in that, a bit like Wally, just manage all the pathways in Queensland, and the remoteness of NT and Queensland's a bit the same. It's a massive state. But we really try and provide equal opportunity for kids, boys and girls, no matter where they live, at a reasonable cost, of course.
And it is a big state, isn't it, Mark? And
massive.
You've got varying conditions right throughout the state, whether it be Brisbane or up northern point of Queensland as well. How far do you cover?
Right to the tip.
Fantastic.
And people forget, like even from Brisbane to Cairns, it's 24 hours in a car. So basically, we've got kids in our program. Like Alex Davies down here, number 22, a National Academy kid. He's from Cairns. So basically, he's living in Melbourne. He was, but we've relocated him back to the Gold Coast so he can access the program on a more regular basis. Not knocking the standard of footy up in Cairns, but it's just kids have just got to be able to work at the level. So, like last weekend, I was in Townsville at our North Queensland Under-16 Championship. So there you had kids from Cooktown, Bamaga, even a couple of kids out in the straight. And PNG, young ace here, Hawago Paul Oio, number 1. He's actually from PNG. He's on an international scholarship with the Suns. So they're actually in our program as well. So
I'm glad you just taught me how to pronounce it.
Well, I'm not
that one.
That's why we call him Ace.
I'm writing that down.
Where are you based out of? Where's your headquarters?
Brisbane. We've got an office at Yeronga, so which is great, right in the middle, and we've got a little bit of a high performance centre there, and our job's to work with the academies, but the big part also for us, only an X amount of these kids are going to get through league footy, so we're really strong on making sure, and as you can see down by the right, all these boys in the Suns academies are linked to what we call a Quaffle Club, which is our state league, and also we have NEFL Club. So our objective certainly to get some through the AFL, but we want to make sure all the kids do link in and play good levels of footy.
And we'll kick off the second quarter with Gold Coast through Budrick, getting it down towards half forward and out of bounds it goes. We might see a bit of the ball out in the outer side today, Matthew, by the look of it, with this breeze, the way it's picked up.
Becoming the trend in this game.
Had differing conditions throughout the 3 games today, but all for the better as it's improved throughout the day. So they'll throw it in just inside 50. Cummins taps it forward, and the Thunder will clear towards centre wing, and a nice mark that time to Matthew Cumming, who'll chip it inboard, but he might have turned it over here. Suns with numbers, just holding up the Thunder, and they'll work it clear out of that pack, and nice delivery. Little look away, but they went without the footy. and it was sharked away by Peskard, who gets it down to full forward. Marking contest. It's 2 against 2 for the minute, but Thunder were able to work it towards the boundary. Out of bounds it goes.
The NT boys do a great job, fellas. You know, like they've battled cyclones and everything over the last few weeks, so you imagine
Exactly.
their preparation. So even to get them here and playing the way they are, they're right in this game.
They are. Michael Cooper getting a late goal in the opening term to get their scoring underway. Gold Coast into attack at the moment. Just running into a bit of trouble there was Gore. Dribbling ball across the face. Minor score. Who are some of the kids that we should be keeping a close eye on?
Oh, definitely for the Suns Academy, ace number 1, Hawago. Connor Budrick's a very good player. He's a National Academy kid. Number 5. As we go down the list, probably Josh Gore's a bit of a goal kicker, a bit of a goal sneak. Matty Conroy, where's he? Number 20-something. Sorry, I've jumped down the list.
32.
32. He's actually an exciting young basketball kid that we've got across. Only started playing about 12 months ago, but he's from Townsville, so I think he's certainly one of the exciting prospects for me. Pretty quick off the mark for a big fella.
Ball goes wide, out of side. Here's a chance for the Thunder as they scoot it forward towards half forward. The target's Woods. He had it and lost it. They just got to get it out into open space, and picked up by Cooper. Couldn't quite maintain possession, but the Suns will luckily get it out of the danger zone and move it down towards half forward and over the back. The wind took it over to Selby, who will have a shot on goal. Beautiful delivery through the middle of the goals. He's been a very good talent today, Michael Salisbury.
Yeah, now go on.
back.
Sorry,
You're right.
he's not the natural basketball kid because he's only small, but he is from basketball. So he's relocated from Cairns, played at Trinity Beach, played a bit of basketball as well with number 22. Here, Alex Davies was also from a basketball background, but Alex has played footy all the way through. But we not only got Alex, but we also picked up Michael. So we got the daily double. Gee, the NT boys, when they just get out in space, aren't they exciting when they run and carry the ball? Huh?
Yeah,
It's just their finishing sometimes just lets them down a little bit.
They're exciting to watch, so we're just hoping that they get on the end of a few and just entertain us today.
And I'm just going to nominate that last passage of play for an Open Universities Australia Plays of the Week contender. Kickstart your education goals by visiting open.edu.au. We thank Open Universities Australia for being our education partner here in the NAB League. As the Suns navigate their way through the middle, Davies gets the ball back into his possession, sends it deep into the pocket. Up against the boundary line, they try and centre it here, Gold Coast. Bouncing ball taken by Patrick. Just unfortunately lost control of it there. Ball dribbles through for a minor score.
Another one for the Suns is Ashton Crosley, number 28, brother of young Crosley who plays at the Suns. So he's a big body midfielder, really good around the contest.
Just holding up play in the back pocket there. Now, for those who have been around a bit longer, Mark.
Not that long.
Not that long, but that can remember you as a 251 game player for South Melbourne Sydney Swans and captain as well. So tell us about your pathway towards getting recognition in the old VFL, I suppose.
Well, I was a little bit different. Well, not different because they've still got the father-son rule now, but my dad actually, Keith, played at South Melbourne, played 52-odd games for South Melbourne. Like a lot of players in those days, he left at 21. There's a lot more money to go and coach in the bush, so he was married with a couple of kids, so off he went to Trafalgar. And I suppose I just followed him, and was ingrained in footy, always barracked for South Melbourne. We moved to Wangaratta and then to Melbourne. Would have, never got that carried away about wanting to play AFL footy because I just didn't know, whether it was possible. But anyhow, I played in a couple of grand finals at a footy club called Beverly Hills out in East Doncaster. Paul Ruse territory, Mark Murphy. Ruse often says that I'm the second best player ever to come out of Beverly Hills. And got identified through that way and went to South Melbourne at 17 years of age and started in the reserves, and away went from there.
The comparison against the modern pathway.
Well, the boys often say to me, like, it's pretty tough to get in the AFL, and I said, well, it was no different because there was only 12 clubs when I started, and more importantly, come pre-season every year there'd be 100 blokes at training from all over the place. You didn't know where they came from, but you know, they were just guys from local footy, or we had a zone in those days. The Riverina was our zone, and out around Noble Park with the Morwood boys and Reece Jones and these guys, Warwick Kappa, came out of. So it was always competitive, and you know, nothing's changed. It is competitive. There's a lot of people that want to play AFL footy.
Then, of course, you had the move to Sydney.
Yeah, well, you know, and I must admit, it was tough, but gee, it was great. We had a great time, and you know, I often tell the story that we moved 35 families all at once, and I think we had 1 or 2 full-time staff members, and no real base here, you know what I mean? So it was a start from scratch. But we were just young blokes, just would have played footy anywhere, probably didn't really understand a lot of the politics or the transition and the history of the club. I mean, we're all passionate, and there were a couple of different groups at the time, but that was because, you know, everyone was passionate about their footy club. So to see where we were and where we are today, although I was disappointed last night, when you think they've played in the finals, 19 out of the last 20 years. I know it's a final 8, but gee, previous to that, we'd played in 1 grand final in 50 years or something. So it's an amazing story, really. And you know, a lot of good people have made all that happen over a long period of time.
And they really had to sell it to Sydney at the time, didn't they? We'll get a goal here.
There's Gore now.
Gold Coast.
Josh Gore.
And he'll sneak that through, Josh Gore. And they're getting a pretty commanding lead at the moment.
It's a bit tricky, that wind, isn't it? I'm not quite sure. I think is it going right, or is it going across?
Right and across to the east. So but it's substantial. So it's surprising they haven't tried to attack from this grandstand side more often.
Not liking the look of those goalposts to the right-hand side of screen. They are...
Well, one of our major sponsors, of course, Virgin, sent me 2... warnings. One was for wind in Sydney, and the other one was for storms in Brisbane. So I don't know what time I'm going to get home tonight.
So speaking of Sydney, you finished in 87 up there. So what was the transformation for the move to Queensland? How did that come about?
Well, I actually went to Tassie for 5-6 years. Okay. Coached the Hobart Footy Club down there. Played and coached for 4 of those 5. Great experience. Actually, Peter Hudson Senior Peter Hudson coached before me there. And so I went down there, fantastic, loved it. Played in 3 grand finals in 5 years, won 1, which was the first day grand premiership I'd actually won as a senior player. As a playing coach, that was pretty special.
Yep.
And then moved to Queensland to coach Southport. The powerful Southport Footy Club. Coached there for a couple of years, 2 preliminary finals, no grand finals. And then, got a job with the AFL in 1996, doing the talent. It was a bit of everything there, talent, coaching. Budrig marks this, I think.
Coming from Salisbury there too.
Yeah. They've structured up pretty well, the Suns, because of the breeze. I think the big fellas aren't going to have much influence on the game, so they've pushed. Connor Budrig's probably their best player, so when he's not on the footy, he's pushing forward, and as you mentioned, Selby as well, so good ground level players down there. Yeah, so I did that, and when I started at QAFL, I think we had about 4 full-time staff, and now we've got about 75 to 80 full-time people, and another 40 that work 20 to 30 hours a week, and we've gone from participation of about 25,000 to about 280,000, which about 40% of those are girls playing footy.
Yeah, it's a massive growth area, isn't it, the girls' footy?
Yeah, and considering that the Lions and the Suns have both struggled for a number of years, I mean, the amount of work we've done on the ground is a credit to our staff, and we're just hoping that the Lions or the Suns can hopefully come up the ladder a bit, because that would really give us a boost.
Yeah, it would.
Did you ever think when you started your interstate travels all those years ago that it would get to this extent, that we'd have it so professionalised and elite in these different non-traditional football states?
Yeah, I did, because I think the AFL, when they do invest, they do invest. They don't fail that often if they really want to invest, and I think that's the key. It's been the continual investment over a long period of time. I mean, the real kick for us, no doubt, was when the Lions did win. That was a great mark there.
Yeah, great mark by Matthew Cumming.
The real kick was, of course, when the Lions won those 3 premierships, and the AFL actually lifted their investment, which was the right time to do it, and our participation really took off probably from that point. So we just need another little turbocharge right now, which would really help. We've made massive in-grounds into the schools, so that's terrific. Let's see how he goes here.
Former Dandenong Stingray player has hit the woodwork as it sways in the breeze here at Blacktown International Sports Park, Northern Territory, 139. Gold Coast Suns 6-7-43, and they'll get another chance here, the Northern Territory. O'Connell sends it deep inside 50. Coming at 3 to beat then. And they've done well to hold it inside 50 here, the Thunder.
Just Gold Coast jumpers everywhere on that occasion. They were outnumbered. They'll thump it forward and clear it, but the Territory have chance here through Cumming. Kicks it long to the square. Up they go. There's a hole.
It'll go the way of his brother. Stephen Cumming to Matthew Cumming.
And he'll have a shot. It's a tricky little shot today.
Well, it's on his preferred side here. He should be able to just to run around here.
So Matthew,
you imagine the things that are going through a kid's head here. Like, it's hard enough for AFL players.
yeah,
Do I run around or no? Oh, hang on.
Ooh.
Now,
hit the post again, have they?
now what's the chance? Now, was that the same brother? Because what's the
Yep.
chances of 2 brothers in a row hitting the post?
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly. And they'll play onto the outer side. I like that kick. Found their man, and they've worked it inboard to Nichols. He'll take off. Lovely left foot out wide. They look a pretty polished unit, don't they, the Gold Coast Suns? And it's in the hands of Dawson. He'll play on and direct it wide out in front. Ball was spilt. They haven't got out of there yet, the Thunder, but the high tackle should be able to clear the way for Lake.
50 metres there.
A 50-metre penalty.
That was a nice clean passage of play up until
Yeah, it was
last.
just Matty
Yep.
Conroy just couldn't nail it.
And he kicks straight into the player coming forward, but it's picked up by Box, who'll kick to a one-on-one. Over the back it goes and through for a behind.
Well, great play there by Johnson, Jack Johnson, and Jack Johnson is actually the son of not Andrew. Now I've committed myself. David Johnson, who played a few games at Fitzroy and Essendon.
Yes, remember David Johnson. Crooksy would remember him at Essendon.
Actually, he's grown a heap over the summer, Jack.
The Suns off half back.
That was Crosley then.
Get it to the centre wing. Thunder, McGregor in all sorts of trouble. Tackled late on by Dawson. And the umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it up.
The Rioli boys are always interesting because at this level, I mean, Cyril was unbelievable at this level as a 17, 18-year-old. He was incredible to watch. But Daniel was okay, but he wasn't that, you know what I mean, like stand out. And maybe young Morris might be exactly the same. They're late developers. It's a fair name to carry around, isn't it?
Morris Rioli, one of the superstars for Richmond, of course.
Coming here. Puts it towards half forward. Pack flew, no one could bring it in. comes to the deck. Ruska tried to release the handball. There is that player there, Morris Rioli. Ball's flicked out, chasing after it's O'Connell. Just ran past it, ball over the boundary line and out of play.
I played on Morris Rioli Senior when he was still at South Fremantle in one of those pre-season games. My coach at the time, Ian Stewart, said, just stand on his toes and wrestle him. He'd had 48 possessions the week before, and so I annoyed the hell out of him all day. I won the little tally for best on ground, and then he told me Ian Stewart told me after the game that he was the Golden Gloves champion of Western Australia or something. I never did it again, I can assure you of that. He was an unbelievable player, Morris Rioli. He's so quick, and he's tackling. You thought you had a 5 metre break on him, and all of a sudden he had you. Fantastic player.
Suns working it through the middle, goes over the back. There's an opportunity here for Crossley. Just fumbled, but picked it up again. And now it's the outer side of the ground. We haven't had much grandstand play. It'll work its way back towards Richardson, who'll go inboard. Here come the Suns. All of a sudden, out to space to Selby. Salisbury in the pocket, but couldn't hold it in, as Northern Territory got numbers around it. They worked it to half back, but again the Suns repel. They're looking the superior unit at the minute, but that kick's overcooked, and it's in the hands of Jungfer. He'll go very, very wide, and they'll try and get it out of there, but good tackle, sees the ball go out of bounds.
Like a game of tennis, isn't it? A lot of play from the arcs in between the 50. Yep. Not a lot of footy getting deep, especially for the Thunder.
Yeah, that wind is certainly playing havoc as the afternoon rolls on. It's still but damp this morning when we first arrived. Ground has held up beautifully as it's kicked forward once again for the Suns. Tackle laid on there by Kenny.
High tackle.
So Suns end up with the footy. Salisbury at half forward. Ships it incredibly short, but it's effective. Mark taken here by Semin.
Yeah, number 20. Elijah.
176 centimetres, coming in at 80 kilos.
I think he was a late inclusion too. I think they had one injury to another player, so he snuck in. So let's see if he can make the most of this opportunity.
Comes in. It's a low kick, won't make the distance. Thunder, oh, they've coughed it up. Error from the Thunder opened an opportunity for Ethan Dawson to score another major for the Gold Coast Suns. What can you tell us about Ethan Dawson?
Well, he's been in good form actually. He's kicked a bag of 3 and a couple in a couple of their trial games. So I think he's the brother of young Jacob Dawson, who's running around at the Suns as a rookie. So from the Palm Beach Footy Club, the Dawson family's pretty. I think there's been about 3 brothers play there. So yeah, but he's handy around the goals. Just another one of those mid-sized players.
We saw a perfect example of it just then, getting the turnover and kicking the goal.
So back in the middle, the Suns have got it off.
We got the 2 big redheads in the ruck here.
We have, haven't we? They stand out, and
we didn't even get a contest.
No,
hang on. What's happening here?
Everyone's confused.
So is it a warning that he's given for the 6x6x6?
Oh, it might have been. Density. Now I'm trying to work out which way it's going here. Oh, okay, they get a warning, so it's a restart.
I think they'll get rid of that rule next year. One year in.
Not a fan of it.
Oh, hang
Rick?
on.
No, it was
the
Suns.
No, they won't get rid of it, I can assure you.
I mean the warning, they'll pick him.
Not sure. No, I don't mind the warning, actually. Although you'd think if a side hasn't had a warning and it's late in the game, they could actually milk a warning to slow the game up, couldn't they?
Right.
Now that you put it out there, they will.
Well, coaches and coaching staff are always looking I call it's like taxation. Everyone's looking away. They make the rule and we look at. But it has worked. I think the anti-density at this, especially this age group, has worked. It's taken probably 3 or 4 years for it to be, incorporated properly. But it's a bit like the 50 metre now. It's part of the rules, and players have got to adhere to it. And the whole idea of it is to open the game up so kids can display their talent rather than having 36 players around the ball.
So we've got a few around the ball this time, and it's the outer side of the ground again. And we've got a high one. And Stevens has it. He'll go inboard. And a nice take. Lovely work.
Building a player on.
And, they just needed a nice bounce and almost hit him in the chin.
That was a shame, wasn't it? Because it was a good lead up and mark, and he spun around quick, just didn't quite find the target.
Keep an eye on Morris Rioli here. See if he can sneak the ball. Lurking around. And that kick was smothered. They're still in the van here, Northern Territory. And the umpire will have to ball it up again 20 metres out.
Young Ash Crosley was a bit lucky there for the Suns. He tried to bust through and perhaps would have unloaded with his hands.
So it's into open space, but eventually closed down, and we'll have another ball up. So we're about 10 metres out from the Territory goal, and they go backwards. Suns outside the 50 now, and that was great body work by Gore, who gets it forward through the middle of the ground. Salisbury gives it off Oaya and goes beautifully down the line.
They've been the 3, haven't they? Number 1, 3 and 5. Hawago, Salisbury and Budrick all in the forward half. Just been the guys, I think they've been the difference.
And that is definitely an Open University Play of the Week contender. And this boy's really putting his hand up. Ethan Dawson, been a good mover across the forward line. And he's going to kick from 40 metres out directly in front. Might be a bit of right to left in it. And he set it up beautifully, and the umpire didn't move.
Knew exactly
Lovely
what
goal.
to do.
So he's really stamping his name on the game.
Well, and what's happening a fair bit into, it's become a bit of a bun fight down their end, so players gravitate to the footy. All of a sudden the Suns get the quick transition, don't they? And there's a bit of space, and all of a sudden those quick little guys like Hawago and, as I said before, Salisbury and Budrick. But beautiful technique there by Ethan Dawson with his kicking.
Yep.
If you were to give one bit of advice to a footy player, whether he was 13, 14 years old, thinking about trying to make it at the elite level, what would it be, Mark?
I'll have to give him 2. 1, don't be a fumbler. At the elite level, you just don't get time. You just need to handle the ball. When you see that Tommy Mitchell, how much work he does, and he's an elite player, but how much extra he does with his ball handling is unbelievable. And the second one is you've got to be able to run. You've got to be fit. It's one of those games that you just got to be able to keep going.
That passage of play there started from Morris Rioli, just unfortunately didn't end the way that they would have liked. Budrick for the Suns, pops it to half back. They've got movement here. Buckland, defensive side of the broadcast wing, puts it up in the Dawson direction. Thunder getting numbers back. Hot footy at half forward, closing in on half time. Handball comes the way of Junkford. Just as they got it into the possession of Kenny, the siren sounds to mark half-time here at Blacktown International Sports Park. 8:7:55, the Gold Coast Suns, the Northern Territory, 1-5-11. As we head towards the National Championships a little later in the year, Mark, a few of the players that are just hovering on the fringe that might take a step up.
Well, I'm hoping Matty Conroy does, the big tall number 32, because I think clubs are looking for talls, so he's certainly got the pace. Ashton Crosley's another one I think is a good player, and he's had to work. Like he did take his eye off the ball a little bit over the summer, but he's back on target, and I think he's worked hard on getting his skin folds down, his fitness up. So those two there are probably the ones that I think are a chance to step up. And I meant, look, he's not big, but Selsby is an interesting player for me because he's just clean. He's got great skill both sides of his body. So they're probably the three that apart from Hawago and Budrick, it's probably those five. And there's a few others, and that's the beauty about these games. It's all about the opportunity. So, you know...
Michael Cooper has caught my eye for Northern Territory at the moment.
Yes. And look, I think, as Wally said before, in the past they've had to play a few 19-year-olds, to be competitive. But this year they've really bit the bullet and said, no, we're going to have a 2-year plan and we're going to play a lot of 17-year-olds. And I think that's definitely the way to go. Their 16s were pretty competitive last year. So 5 games at this level for the 17-year-olds, I think will be fantastic for them in another 12 months.
Terrific.
Well, thank you very much for coming up and spending the second quarter with us here in the commentary box. The Queensland talent manager, Mark Browning. Appreciate the insight that you've been able to share with us, and good luck for the rest of the year up in Queensland.
Thank you.
We'll take a break here in our Round 2 NAB League coverage through the NAB League app, and we're back with the second half in this final game of the triple header here at Blacktown International Sportspark. Welcome back to Blacktown International Sports Park for the second half, the final second half of this triple header here at Blacktown International Sports Park, with the Gold Coast Suns in firm control against the Northern Territory Thunder, 8-7-55 to 1-5-11. Rick, you've got some of the key disposal winners from that opening half of footy.
Yeah, it's pretty even across the board here, with Budrick looking a bit of a standout all the same. He's a talented type, Connor Budrick, on 14 possession. We've got Ashton Crosley on 14 as well, and same for Ben Junkfer, also on 14. And on 13 we had Davies, that's Alex Davies. He's doing a good job as well, and Fife on 12. So pretty even spread of players today.
It is. I was just going to go around at the grounds for you guys.
A couple of other games happening back in Victoria today as part of round 2 of the NAB League.
Well, I'll backtrack just to start. The first game of the day, Sydney Swans Academy 7-14-56 defeated the Tasmania Devils 6-6-42. The Brisbane Lions Academy 14-12-96 defeated the Giants Academy 10-10-70. Now another close one down at Morwell Recreation Reserve. Dandenong Stingrays 10-11-71 defeated the Gippsland Power 9-11-65, a 1-goal win to the Stingrays. Halfway through the third quarter at Deakin Reserve, Murray Bushrangers 7-5-47 to the Bendigo Pioneers 6-11-47. And of course we've got our game here, 8-7-55 to the Thunder 1-5-11. 3 games tomorrow. The Dragons take on the Knights, the Jets take on the Rangers, the Rebels take on the Falcons, 4 games tomorrow, and the Cannons take on the Chargers at Rams Arena.
Big weekend of NAB League action, and you can catch it all through the NAB League app. Download it in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store. Has live stats for every boys game, live streaming for every boys game, so you can catch all those games tomorrow through the NAB League app. Take us away, Rick, for the second half.
Ball spills loose in the middle of the ground, but we've got players coming left, right and centre, paddling it forward. Just a little kick out of there. Northern Territory go forward. Should be repelled this time through Johnson. They can't break away. Good aggression from Northern Territory there to hold them up. And the Suns couldn't get away there. So, Cumming doing a lot of the ruck today. But eventually it'll be cleared towards the middle of the ground. They've come out with a bit of intent in this third quarter, the Thunder. Just need to get on the board. So we've got Box with the ball, goes into the middle. Ball held up in the breeze, and they've got further support at half forward. Just couldn't get away, and that ball will go out of bounds. So almost up to centre wing, outer side. Wonder if the instructions were to attack from the grandstand side for either of these two teams. But we haven't seen that yet.
Well, I've been out just during that second quarter. I was dirty. I missed more of that. I could listen to Mark Browning all afternoon. He's a beauty. That wind is really... This is a Rams Arena type wind.
Okay.
For the people in the under-18 competition would understand what that means.
Not yet bordering on Williamstown footy ground conditions.
Oh, it's on the way. It's a very close cousin to it, I can promise you.
So the ball's stuck in the outer side wing. We've got a ball up. Just need to get some run and get on their skates a bit here, both these teams. Again, the ball's just working its way around, but he's paid a throw. And this will go the way of Junkfa, who's had a fair bit of the footy today. He'll kick inside 50, and it just went outside 50 in the end. And it was an intercept mark, that time to Pescott. So he's going to decide to go along the outer side again. And we've got an intercept mark that time to Stephen Cumming. They're not easy to pick. And a mark inside 50. It's probably too far out into this breeze, and they'll get on with it straight away, but an intercept mark to Budrick.
I tell you, just to look at the goalpost down there at that end. They are
howling away.
So
that's hard to kick to.
Now, that kick was advantageous because it was into the teeth of that breeze, and Tyson Woods...
Yeah, the cameras have picked that up.
Because you wouldn't want to hit it if it leaned a little bit to the left.
So Woods is going to kick. He's got to go right to left here. And he does, and it's gone a bit too far, but it's in the square. We've got a juggling mark to Cumming, and that is Stephen Cumming. And he's going to shoot from 15 metres out, directly in front.
Hurt his finger by the looks of things in that marking contest.
Did juggle it, so he runs in and kicks the goal, and a much needed goal. They're second for the day. They move on to 2-5-17, the Northern Territory, to the Gold Coast Suns, 8 goals, 7-55. And better endeavour shown in this third quarter so far by the Thunder.
They have, I'll bring him up, Stephen Cumming. He's had 8 kicks, 5 handballs, 2 marks, 2 tackles. For a big bloke, that's pretty good. 20 hit-outs for the day. And now he's got a goal on the board.
Big bloke, 199 centimetres and 104 kilos. No wonder he won that marking contest in the goal square. Gold Coast Suns unable to get it clear. Thunder just trying to push it forward. Ends up in the hands of Budrick for the Suns. They get it back to Joyce, off half back. Goes wide with the kick. Under pressure is Rusker for the Thunder. Back in after it. Suns, though, with the footy in their hands. Up against the boundary line. That kick a little wide there for Gore, and Northern Territory will end up with the free kick. A retreat defensively, searching for Lake. Back pocket still on the outer side. Blacktown International Sports Park. Decides to wind up Lake. Went long with the kick, and it was worked out well in the end. Cumming takes the mark. This is Matthew. Defensive side of the outer wing. Congestion in front of him. And somehow in that contest, Pescott took the mark for the Gold Coast Suns. Chips it short to Dessalins. Centre half back. Pokes it into the middle. Buderick takes the mark. It'll have to come back. Suns take off. Inside attacking 50. No clean possession of the footy. Kick smothered. Rumley coming through. He puts that wide. The minor score. A bit stagnant in this third term. 8-8-56 the Gold Coast Suns. Northern Territory 2-5-17.
They'll work it out of there, the Territory. And kick long. Cummings was the target, but over the top of his head. Kicked down further afield by Dirksen.
Oh.
Play on's a call.
He'll get pinged.
Morris Rioli, the tackler. And he'll be rewarded.
Wearing the famous number 17 as well.
Exactly. Great to see. And he kicks long. Just pops it up there. Over the back it goes. Into the pocket. Soccer tactics. Almost stayed in. Out of bounds it goes. So we're beside the behind post. Happy with the commitment shown by the Thunder in this
Absolutely.
so far.
Just don't seem to have the polish of the Gold Coast Suns. That's what's letting them down.
So we'll see how they handle this. They've got an advantage with coming in the ruck here. If he can get it down to a player.
Oh, took it out of the ruck.
And they should be able to work it out around that 50. Good paddling by O'Connell. They get it back to Cumming, who boots it towards full forward. Oh, they've got a chance here. Great work by Joyce to get in and lay the spoil, because he was outnumbered then. It was a terrific effort by Joyce. And we've got a ball up 15 metres out from goal. Northern Territory attacking. I'd love one here, and Rioli gets it out, dribbles it forward, but they'll mop up here the Gold Coast and go wide and out in front. Lovely delivery out to Conroy. One of the men Mark Browning mentioned just before. We'd like to see step up. And the umpire lets it go. And we'll have a ball up.
Once again, we do need to thank our partners here in the NAB League. NAB, Naming Rights and Principal Partner. Open Universities Australia, our education partner. Our digital partner, Telstra. Our apparel partner, Puma. Rookie Me looking after the testing and the bar counter. Our nutrition partner in the NAB League in 2019. We thank them for their support of this under-18 competition as the Northern Territory goes short. Patrick takes the mark. It is the shade of the grandstand here at Blacktown International Sports Park. Again, it's a congested 50 for the Northern Territory Thunder. No clean mark.
Good call, Matthew. It is congested. They need to just space that out a bit. Give themselves some room.
The longer kick grandstand side, so it's definitely the place to attack.
It's Cumming, won the tap down. Again, the ball going nowhere. Northern Territory Thunder have been inside 50 on a couple of occasions in the opening 10 minutes of this third quarter, but just haven't capitalised as much as they would have liked. Have got a goal through Cumming. Again, the ball is all wrapped up.
Scraggy couple of minutes, isn't it? Just waiting for something to break open here.
Cumming won the tap down. Suns with possession of the footy. It's intercepted. On the end of the handball is Kenny, puts it into the pocket. Suns will rebound. Risky handball the way of Reeves. He's tackled. Chaos footy now in the pocket. Umpire says, give it to me, I will ball it up. One out on that occasion by O'Connell. And the Suns are able to hit a target. Ace, nickname of Ruago Paul Owie. As we found out from Marcus Ashcroft and Mark Browning. Has come from the PNG on a scholarship. To see him out there today in Gold Coast colours, the number 1 for the Suns as it's tossed back in. Cumming dishes the handball off. Jungford couldn't dispose of it cleanly, and we'll get another stoppage. Over to you, Rick. You're going to have a go at trying to break it up.
So this time we're 55 out. Northern Territory had the ball down there for a while now. They just need to get a score. And this will hug the boundary line, but they got it out again. And Cumming hooks it back inside 50. Spoil. Finds Conroy. They'll dribble it further afield. Lovely intercept. I like that from Foster. Thumps it again around that 50-metre mark. Just working hard, but that ball will be taken by Cooper. He spears the pass. Bit of a daisy cutter. Wasn't taken, but Joyce will mop up for the Gold Coast Suns, and they'll work it to the outer side of the ground. Got a bit of a battle out there, but eventually out of bounds it goes. Seems to be the pattern of the day. Once it heads out that side, it works its way over the line.
Just a bit unfortunate there that Cooper's kick didn't come off the way that he would have liked going into coming. Tossed in. Thunder again, try and get a bit of movement on the outer side. Ferreira. Get the handball wide and now a long kick searching for Cumming. He takes the mark.
Too big, too strong, too good that time.
Matty Cumming, centering ball. Gold Coast Suns take the intercept mark and they've got players wide. Fumbling it there was Gore. Had support in Budarick, who puts it in front of Ace. Paul Owie goes in the direction of Brumley in a bit of space at half forward. 1-on-1 inside 50. Good contest. Ball to ground. Giving the shove there was Conroy.
Off the carpet.
And he puts it through.
Gee,
Big man.
Lionel Messi would have been happy with that one, striking that ball that far out. He really got some purchase, kept it low, and put it in the back of the net.
I'd say Open Universities would be happy with that as the play of the week.
It was an absolute ripper soccer goal.
Used his body too to get that player out of the way.
198 centimetres and 85 kilos. Matty Conroy.
Big unit.
And after all of the hard work from the Northern Territory to trap it in this broadcast quadrant of the ground, goes up the other end and the Suns get a major.
Ball tapped down. Here go the Thunder, but they couldn't get that tap over in time. Paddling it at the grandstand side, the Gold Coast. Underneath it was Pescud, and out of bounds it goes.
I was listening to the call. Interested, Rick. I'm with you on this one. I wouldn't give a warning, but if you do, it would only be for the first month and in the first half of the game.
Yep.
After that, if you don't know where you've got to go, penalised.
Exactly. And I can't ever remember a warning in an AFL footy. Can you?
No.
So the ball hugs the boundary line eventually underneath us here. We've got another throw in. Yeah, it's a strange one for mine. Look, they've all been practising it since they've known about it, so I don't know why you need a warning to have 6 players in the 50-metre arc.
The only time that I'll dispute either of you on it is if there is a player coming from the bench. There's been a few times where we've been held up.
Yep.
So that would be my only, where you give them the benefit of the doubt, especially if they've got to run.
Or an extra little bit. The other one I'm not that keen of is playing on from full-back.
Yeah, it just doesn't look right.
How far do they run? They all run about 35 metres.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that's perfect yet. Maybe they could put an extra big square where the point posts are, Croxy. Make it a big square. They can kick out from there.
Big fat square.
That's it. There's some food for thought for Gil. But anyway, it's out in the outer side.
Steve Hocking, isn't it? There's Mr.
whoever
charge
makes
of the rules
these days. And good tackling going on out there. Both teams pretty competitive this quarter. We'll have a ball up.
I get the theory behind why they've done it, but I don't think anyone's actually capitalised. They wanted to avoid kicking into the pocket and getting caught. I don't see we've seen too many take full advantage of it. Great mark there from Matty Cumming, Rick.
Yeah, used his body, just had the bulk on his opponent there and was able to put up the big long arms, and they keep you on their toes, these two twins, don't they?
And they don't make it any easier by wearing number 35 and number 36.
Exactly.
Exactly the same height. Matthew's a little lighter than Stephen, but not by much.
Another one to the Thunder.
And both brothers now have a goal.
So let me just have a quick look at Matthew. Matthew Cumming has had the 12 possessions so far. Sorry, 8 possessions so far, 5 marks, which is good in windy conditions, I would suggest.
He swung into the ruck a few times as well. They've both been changing, the brothers, into the middle.
Stephen's in there now getting ready for this contest.
Don't confuse me, Matt.
Could have a bit of fun with this. Ball up. It's the Thunder. I think they've had momentum in this quarter, but they just haven't capitalised on it enough. They've kicked 2 goals. Could have had 3 or 4. Coming. Puts the handball into Ferreira, who got caught tight and still was able to get the handball away. They get it into box. Morris Rioli's hovering. Unable to do much with it on that occasion. Slung into the ground was Patrick. And eventually the umpire calls for it. Half-forward flank on the broadcast side for the Thunder. Coming. That was Stephen that won the tap down on that occasion. Buderick. That's Joel Buderick for the Northern Territory Thunder.
And there's Connor, his brother, for... Are they twins? One of our favourites.
You're pushing me.
We've mucked up twins all our lives in the commentary box.
There's the Suns, Wingrave. Gives a handball. Here's Connor Buderick for Gold Coast. Smith. Tackled by Morris Rioli. Thunder have turned it over. Junkfer got his handball across to Stevens. Better manhandling inside 50. Dirksen under pressure. Has support through Woods. Just puts it to the right-hand side.
Zach Crooksy, he barely took the footy, threw it on the boot.
Snap second.
Instinct.
Very clever by Tyson. Now they're just running off as they like here, the Gold Coast, and they're going to have some loose men out wide through, looks like Gore out there. And they'll work it towards the centre square, but they get back in number 12 here, the Thunder, and they'll boot it to centre half forward. Over the back it goes. Good tackle there by Cooper. Brings it to ground. They'll mop up, but again we'll have another turnover.
Stephen Cumming, player hotspot. 5 hit-outs and a goal.
They'll kick it down towards full forward. Woods again, cops one a little high. And we've got a kick on goal by Fajo Jr., but just offline through for a behind.
Not much of him, 172 centimetres and 62 kilos.
Bantamweight.
He could ride the favourite in the welter in the last at Rose Hill on his way home.
They'll work it to the outer side again, Gold Coast. Just lost their system a bit in this quarter, and they just need to hold it up and play a bit of tempo footy as they're doing through Bailey Reeves. And work it to the outer side. Little kick inboard. Just didn't hit the target. They'll get it out. Too many around this ball, the umpire will have to go and sort it out.
Ball deep inside 50 for the Suns. Fajo Jr. running out of room. In the back pocket for the Thunder. 9.862 plays 3-7-25 as we approach three-quarter time here in this third game of the triple header at Blacktown International Sports Park in Sydney. Earlier today, the Swans were victorious against the Tasmania Devils, whilst the Brisbane Lions were able to get over the line against the GWS Giants Academy side. As Connor Buderick takes the mark for the Gold Coast Suns.
The rebound, the inside 50s are starting to level up. It's 29-24 in favour of the Gold Coast Suns.
Who led another one for that as they go towards Reeves. Thunder again with numbers around the footy. Kick into the middle is good. Coming. Gives the handball to O'Connell. Long ball inside 50 for the Thunder is good. Mark taken here by Wade Dirksen.
The disposals have been around 60 more in favour of the Suns most of this quarter. They haven't been able to change that. 228 to 162. So 66 more, and it's been that way most of the quarter.
So Wade Dirksen comes in, starts it right, and given the conditions, that is a beautiful kick.
He did that very well. Got right on the breeze and just let the breeze take it neatly through the middle of the goal. Rick, that was your kind of goal kicking form.
I liked it. He hit it in the right place, and it just didn't carry too far. It just curled back enough and straightened up a little bit at the end. So it was well connected, and that's the place to attack here at the minute.
Margin's only 31
from that goal.
Margin's only 31 points with a quarter to play.
Probably need one again here. So we'll see what the Suns can muster up here in the middle. And Mick just plucks it out of the air, and they get it down again towards centre half forward, the Thunder. They've got players around it. Suns working to get it out of there. Did well. Get it across grandstand side. And worked down by, that was Brumley or Deslandes. So just in the shade there, the umpire will throw the ball in. Clock's ticking away. We probably won't get another score this quarter. And the ball worked down towards centre wing, and that is three-quarter time here at Blacktown International Stadium, Game 3. Gold Coast Suns 9-8-62, lead Northern Territory 4-7-31.
3 goals that term to the Northern Territory Thunder, only the one major for the Gold Coast Suns, and that came from Matt Conroy early in the piece. Thunder, I felt, brought a lot of pressure to the contest, a lot of intensity, and they were able to make the scoreboard look respectable at three-quarter time. We'll take a break here on NAB League Action Round 2.
I'm down on the ground with the Gold Coast Suns Academy manager, Jason Tawney. You guys are in a really strong position on the scoreboard, which is a reflection of the overall talent you have on this team. Can you give us an insight on the Gold Coast Suns Academy program and how that works?
Yeah, look, we've got 2 main regions on the Gold Coast, from sort of northern New South Wales up to nearly Brisbane, and then we've got a North Queensland region which is up in Gladstone all the way up to the Cape. So our group really play their footy together in their sort of 17th and 18th year. That's when we get all of our talented players together. So it's a culmination of a lot of programs, a lot of satellite hubs, and then we roll into this program, and we generally find our group about 50-50 split through those zones. We train a fair bit together. And you know, the first half was a really good showing for us. The NT boys fought back and had a really good quarter there, and obviously it's pretty windy out here today, so one more quarter to go. Hopefully we can run it out. We've prepared for these 5 games over the next sort of 6 weeks, and looking forward to every week.
How do you instruct the boys to cope with these conditions? Because it is fairly windy and hard to move the ball, but a lot of players have kicked some great goals with the wind.
Yeah, look, it's more about technique and getting the fundamentals right. So a lot of our players spend an enormous amount of time on just getting fundamentals right. So when it comes to a day like this, you may just change your what you're lining up with, or what you're trying to aim at, and that's the result. As long as you're fundamentally technically okay, your skills should be in order. So it was warm early and a bit humid, which obviously both teams probably used to, and now it's sort of gotten a bit crispier, a bit windy, and there's a few errors, balls on the ground a bit more, and some of those players that have got ground, air, and their skills in line, they'll show, and I guess the cream will rise on a day like this.
What does it mean for the Gold Coast Suns Academy to have their first game in the NAB League and obviously reach a wider audience? What does it mean for the group?
Yeah, over the last few years, it's increased its momentum, I guess. We've played an academy series where we've always done this, and this year we're in the NAB League playing against some of the Victorian clubs, which we're just looking forward to the challenge, see where our talent sits in the scheme of things. Some of the players in our team will rise and they'll play just as well as a Victorian kid or anyone else, and some guys will realise where they're a bit limited and need to improve. So we look forward to the challenge, absolutely.
And lastly, who's really stood out for you in the group today?
Connor Budrick has been huge for us, very skillful young player. Ashton Crosley as well, more of an inside on-baller. And look, I like, he's probably had a so-so game, but I like Matty Conroy. He can just do things that a lot of ruckmen can't. He soccered one through for a goal in that quarter, and you sort of shake your head and go, wow, what can this kid do?
Thank you for your time, Jason, and good luck for the rest of the game.
No problems, thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you very much to Siobhan down there on the boundary line with Jason Tawney, the Gold Coast Academy manager. Appreciate his time and everyone's time who's ventured up either to the commentary box or down along the boundary today. Craig Notman, football manager for Tassie. Kevin Sheehan, AFL talent ambassador. Chris Smith, the Swans Academy manager. Darren Denneman from the New South Wales ACT, their talent manager. Luke Power, the NAB AFL Academy coach and manager. Luke Curran, Brisbane Lions Academy manager. Marcus Ashcroft, AFL talent and competitions manager. Mark Browning, Queensland talent manager. And Wally Gallio, the talent manager of the Northern Territory Thunder. We hope they've taught everyone out there a few things about the interstate clubs, which haven't received too much exposure over the journey as part of the Division 2 Academy series, and we're looking forward to seeing how the next 5 or so rounds go with them a part of the NAB League competition.
Should thank Kevin Sheehan for organising everybody, and everyone's been he must wield a pretty big whip because everyone's been here right as the clock's ticked over. These guys have all turned up, so what you would expect, nothing less. And yeah, it's good. It's a good, just purely selfishly for me, I've got a different perspective. I'm just another football supporter back at home, and you always think, hey, Swans, we've got Isaac Heaney and Callum Mill. Why have they got an academy? Why can't the Bombers have an academy and stuff like that? But it's just great. I was lucky enough to be last week, watch the footy, but it's good to see footy up here thriving. It's greatest game in the world, and you're actually seeing it live and flourishing.
It's been a cracking day of football here at Blacktown International Sports Park, where we've seen the Sydney Swans and Brisbane Lions obtain victories over Tasmania and GWS respectively. Currently the Suns hold a 31-point lead over the Northern Territory Thunder. As we get set for the final term to get underway, pass you over to Rick Morris.
Umpire getting set to bounce the ball to start this at favoured Cummings, who just handed it off, and they got away nicely. The Thunder work it forward, couldn't break clear. Now the Suns with numbers. They'll stream towards half forward, but judging it nicely there was good work. Rusker paddled it forward, lost the ball, but endeavour was terrific and was rewarded. Once he'd lost that ball, he wanted to get it back. That was terrific endeavour by Brandon Rusker. And he's forced to play on now and kicks long. Over the back it goes. Swirling winds causing havoc at the moment. And that ball was thrown. Good tackle, Junkfer. But eventually it'll be turned over again. Kenny went without it. Out the back door it goes.
Oh, crunch, Rioli.
He got crunched by Rioli. And good tackling again by Cooper, and he'll get the footy and he'll wheel onto that left pretty quickly and chips it over, and that he does. And that was kicked by Birch down towards centre half forward, just held up in the breeze. And now they'll go out to the outer side, and it might beat all comers, but Oaya. Gee, did he do well to keep that in, but eventually it found the line. And we'll turn it over. So the kick goes inboard to Junkfer, who's had plenty of it for the Thunder. And they'll work it across the ground at half back. See what they decide to do here, the Thunder. And they chip to a running lead, but it goes over the top and strapped by Ferreira. He gets grabbed by the leg. Don't know if you're allowed to do that. But eventually it is cleared, and they kick towards centre half forward. The wind's blowing across towards that centre half forward area, but they're in with a chance here. Over the back. Can't break away.
Here we go.
Now here's Morris Rioli. Let's see what he can do. He kicks a flat punt through the middle. Just seemed to know where he hit that ball, right in the middle of the footy. And Morris Rioli has put his first on the board and showed good endeavour at the same time. Did you like that one, Crooks?
I absolutely love that one, Rick. As you said, he hit it right in the fat belly of the footy and just let it just waft and waver its way through the middle of the goals. What a superstar.
We'll have a look at that replay, and he knew what he was doing there. Excellent play.
Open Universities Australia Plays of the Week contender, that one. Kickstart your education goals by visiting open.edu.au, and a reminder to check out the NAB League app during the week for the Open Universities Australia Plays of the Week.
Keep an eye on him, please, Adrian Dodoro. Mark that one down.
As it's back in the middle. Conroy won it down, but again the Thunder moving it forward. Cut off on that occasion by Joyce. Inside defensive 50. Goes wide. Mark taken out there by Selsby, who's been a little quiet in this second half. Thunder again. They've got a spring in their step at the moment. Fajo Jr. in a bit of trouble.
Good boy.
Knew what he had to do. Wax boots a ball.
Oh.
High. Finger breaker.
In the end, no one wanted to claim it and can understand why. It goes bouncing, box. Kicks it around. Suns under pressure at half back. We'll get a ball up. Coming. Caught. Suns release the kick. It'll dribble over the boundary line and out of play.
Just around the grounds, guys. 18 and a half minutes into the last quarter in Shepparton. The Bendigo Pioneers lead it by 5 points, 8-13-61 to 8-8-56, which reminds me, next Sunday we're triple heading again to Queen Elizabeth Oval, one of our favourite footy spots, and the 6 Vic Country teams will be facing off against each other. We'll be a little bit more familiar with those blokes than these guys.
And the ground.
And the ground.
Opportunity here for the Thunder. They're only 25 metres out, and is that
Another
Cooper?
one? Oh, point.
He stabbed it through and just offline. Might have just rushed it there.
24 points, 19 and a half. Just over 19 and a half minutes left. They got a sniff?
If they get one quickly now, the Suns aren't playing any better. They do have a bit of a spring in their step. Let's see what the app is telling me. The stats are telling me.
As play goes on, caught there is McGregor for the Northern Territory Thunder. Suns tried to go quickly with a handball that wasn't effective, and Richardson's able to hold things up.
So the inside 50s are almost level, 30 to 29 in favour of the Gold Coast. So they were almost double earlier in the game. The stats, the disposal count is down to about 50 behind. So they're winning a lot more of the ball and taking it forward more often. There's another one.
They go in the direction of Woods. There's a hold though, and he's given away the free kick. So Smith to take it. The top of his defensive goal square. Chips it into the pocket. Suns look to work it down this broadcast side. Players looking into the sun. This final term, ball dribbles over the boundary line and out of play.
Ground sounding a bit harder underfoot from the morning. There's a real wet spot there.
Squelch.
So we're underneath the commentary. Brumley and Cumming with the knockout. Just can't break away at the minute. There's a hold, and it'll go the way of Pescott. They'll play on through Reeves, who gets it down towards half forward. Can't just break away just yet, but they do clear it. A nice take out in front, Nichols. He's a likely type who gets on that left, and they're at the outer side. Taken away by Seaman, kicks down to the pocket, and a mark to Dawson, who doesn't mind a goal. Ethan Dawson, he's kicking from the pocket. Kick 2 so far today.
Just be a steadier this one for the Suns.
So Dawson to kick from 35 out on the angle. Comes in and kicks it high. Allows a bit too much that time and comes back and hits the post. So it's a 25-point margin with 16 minutes to go. Thunder still in this game, getting a fair bit of the football at the moment, so they'll force it wide, but again that wind taking it out in the full.
Road ahead for these two sides. Gold Coast Suns will next play the Brisbane Lions at Yeronga on Saturday the 6th of April, kicking off at 11 a.m. Northern Territory Thunder head down to the Holden Centre, Olympic Park in Melbourne, to take on Tasmania. That game on Sunday, April 7.
That's a good one.
1 o'clock. And then following that, the Thunder will take on the Western Jets at Burbank Oval, so they're getting a taste of the windy conditions here today. And then the Suns face the Oakley Chargers in Southport. Match on Sunday, April 14, kicking off at 11:15.
Now the ball's in the hands of Birch. They're attacking now the Thunder. Bit of a hold, so reprieve for the Gold Coast. And Reece Nichols gives it across, but good aggression there. The tackling's improved from the Thunder, and they'll hold it up again. 55 out from goal. This game's certainly not dead yet. Playing with a fair bit of passion at the moment, the Northern Territory boys, and as they kick it back inside 50. And
Good mark.
is that a mark?
It was.
Dirksen. He's been quite mobile across half forward. Wade Dirksen.
Done a few good things and kicked a goal in that third quarter.
He's got a kick from 50, so it'll hold up in this breeze, and that has gone right across. Out in the full.
So the Suns, through Smith, go to half back, where the Thunder are able to get an intercept, but they've coughed it up. Crossley, on half back. Trying to escape traffic there is Fraser, goes wide. Rowles, centre wing out of side. Retreats with the handball. They try and pop it to Reeves, although coming late was Buckland, and he ends up with the footy. Centre wing out of side for the Suns. Bouncing ball at half forward. Trying to escape there was Lake. He got caught. Has support. Ball bobbling around for the Thunder. Morris Rioli's on half back and applies a great tackle. But the umpire says a trip. And a free kick to go the way of the Gold Coast Suns. Half back. Expert commentary from the boundary line down there. They go long. Ball off hand. Sharking it there is Gore, who puts it through. He's got 3. Kick 2 in the second term. He's done a few good things today, Joshua Gore.
Did well front and centre there, and watched it onto the left, and he knew straight away as soon as he kicked that was through the middle. That was good sharking by Gore. Few interchanges going on. This is what you were talking about, Matt, where they can get caught out of position.
These players look like going to the wing and into the middle, so no dramas on that occasion. It is interesting to see the forward setups for both sides.
Just looks right to me, doesn't it? Having forwards in the forward area.
Yes, I like it.
Traditionalists, the three of us, I think, up here in the commentary box. Good to see players starting in their rightful positions. Fast kick away for the Suns. Buckland.
Oh, well done.
Kick smothered. Great attempt there from Luke McDonald to rush it through for the Thunder.
So the Thunder will kick it in. Be interesting to see which side, and they've come grandstand side. Cummings was the target, and he brings it to ground. He's got a mover in Pescott, the Gold Coast have, and they'll have a shot towards, oh, hang on, we've got a loose man over the outer side, and it's Buckland, who'll scoot around. He just popped it up a bit high, and it just allowed Kenny in. Kynan Kenny, he's at half back. He'll go out of side, and they bring it to ground. Good spoil. Sees it in the hand of Oia. He gets it down towards the goal. It's travelling all the way, and he's done it. Away go Paula Dia. Terrific goal on the burst. And that is an Open University's play of the week, that's for sure. And he started like a house on fire, and he may finish that way.
He is sleek in his movements, nice and balanced. Only 63 kilos.
Not much of him.
No, so need to put on a bit of weight.
As we heard from Mark Browning a little earlier, comes from Papua New Guinea. He's with the Gold Coast Suns on a scholarship.
How amazing is that?
Great
It's
opportunity.
pretty incredible, isn't it?
It's the Suns.
Whoop.
Oh, he's there again. He got caught that time by Rioli. Ducking and weaving was Nichols. Puts it to the outer side, chasing his cement out there.
Noticeable part of Maurice Rioli's game is his chase and tackle. It's a good sign.
Absolutely.
Really good sign that we've seen today on several occasions. Been able to run down his opponent.
Brumley won it there for the Gold Coast Suns. There was Paul O'Ae again. Saman just offline with his kick and out of play. Thunder, they wanted to come to the broadcast side there, Lake. In the end, goes down along the boundary line. They've worked it okay. Good mark taken here by Box. Goes along with the kick. Looking for Cumming. That was Matthew. Rioli tries to tap it to the advantage. Didn't quite come off. Davies at half back. Chips short. Nichols. The ball in his hands at half back. There's a free player inside defensive 50. Johnston. Goes to Joyce. Back pocket now on the broadcast side. Oh, good grab there taken by Joel Buderick for the Northern Territory Thunder. To take the intercepts. Fortunately, though, he's turned it over as well. Corey Joyce takes the mark, takes a bounce.
Like Joyce's game, been solid defender.
A kick just a little too hot for Fraser. Over the back, though, here's Paul O'Ae. Ace. This is more commonly referred to at the Suns. Thunder, they went up looking for Rioli, had 2 to beat. Support arrives here in Hodges. Kicks it towards half forward. Disselins gets it. And the Suns are able to attack once more.
They'll kick towards half forward and bring it to ground. Conroy gets it out further afield and he's got support through rolls. That was intercepted and Ferreira will go wide. And a nice mark under pressure. And that was taken by Dirksen, who'll go inboard to Patrick. Jonty Patrick.
It's only the second Jonty I've ever known, Rick.
Yeah, true. South African cricketer, Jonty Rhodes.
Jonty Duffy for the Rangers, I think.
Eastern Rangers. Gee, you're following too much under 18 footy.
I think.
So they're just trying to work it out of there and they've hooked it into trouble. The ball was spoiled. Gold Coast with the numbers, get it out wide to Oia. He should be able to scout around and do as he likes and go inboard. They'll work it through the middle. A little one-hand take by Gore. Just trying to work onto that left and put it out in front. Salisbury's the target, but out of bounds it goes.
Once again, we need to thank our partners, NAB, our naming rights and principal partner for the NAB League in 2019, the under-18 competition, our education partner, Open Universities Australia, who are also looking after the plays of the week. Our digital partner, Telstra, assisting with the brilliant app that you can download through the App Store or Google Play Store. Puma looking after all the apparel across the NAB League. Rookie Me taking care of the testing, and the bar counter, our nutrition partner. Great to have their support in 2019 as the tackle laid on there by Reeves. A little bit of push and shove. Get a ball up. Suns trying to work it clear. Desperate stuff. Holding the ball decision paid the way of the Thunder. They want to come wide. Fajo Jr. had 2 to beat. Gold Coast Suns players ended up colliding in the contest, so it opened an opportunity momentarily for them. Reeves gets it to Semens. Goes inside 50. Thunder again did well. Hold things up. Suns, though, move it forward. Bouncing ball in the pocket over the boundary line and out of play in front of Ethan Dawson.
Just a few minutes of footy left for today. It's been a great day out at Blacktown. Triple header. Great initiative. And we've got to see some exciting footballers on the park today. And that was sharked by Ruska of the Northern Territory. Gets it in the middle. Awea fires it out the back. And they'll straighten it up through centre half forward. The clearance will come. This time from Richardson. Centre half forward, big collision. Here's an opportunity for Woods. He's paddling the ball, just trying to get it out in the open. Great defensive play by Joyce, who holded that attack and wobbled it towards the boundary line.
Ricky had 3 players to beat, all with eyes towards the goals there, and he nullified it. That was just brilliant defence.
And definitely my best for the Gold Coast is Corey Joyce. The ball in will take place around the 50 metres. Three minutes left in this game. Both teams still going at it hard. Now we're at centre wing, grandstand side of Blacktown. And good gang tackling. We'll have a ball up.
Can't fault the endeavour of the Northern Territory Thunder, especially in the second half. They just haven't been able to apply scoreboard pressure. The Suns have done enough to hang on here at Blacktown International Sports Park. Round 2 of the NAB League, first game of the Academy Series in 2019. Rioli with ball in hand off half back. Kick just over the head of Patrick. There's a teammate coming through in Cooper. Now Kenny dodges and weaves and then handles it straight to his opponent, who is Salisbury, and goes long with the kick. Contest inside 50. Suns with numbers. Try and get into the hands of Gore. Come out wide. Buderick for the Thunder. Was unable to release it cleanly. Salisbury was chasing after it. Suns poke it. And a mark is taken by Josh Gore, who already has 3 on the board today for the Gold Coast Suns.
Just as he lines up, it's full time in Shepparton, and the mighty Pios, the Pioneers, have won 9-14-68 to 9-10-64. The Bushies took the lead very late, and the Pioneers got it back on the death knock. So we're going to go next week and call the Pios 2 wins from 2 games at the start of the season. That would not have happened before.
It hasn't happened for a long time, and Gore will slot that 4th one in. Nice kick off the boot, and Josh Gore's 4th. And the Gold Coast Suns are running away now. 12-10, 82 to Northern Territory, 5-8-38.
And just back on the Pioneers for a moment. That's 2 quality oppositions that they've defeated in the opening 2 rounds. And great for Bendigo, who only got 2 wins last year, finished last on the under-18 competition ladder.
And we called one of them, I think, from memory.
We did, against the Gippsland Power at Windy Hill in the middle of last year.
So, just trying to see who they play next week. They play Gippsland Power. First cab off the rank, 10 o'clock from Queen Elizabeth Oval.
They've got good form against Gippsland too.
Yep.
So, looking forward to that one next Sunday up at Bendigo. Ball dribbles over the boundary line on half forward for the Gold Coast Suns. Ticking down to the final siren here at Blacktown International Sports Park to conclude 3 matches featuring the interstate clubs. Gold Coast Suns victorious 12-10-82, defeating the Northern Territory 5-8-38.
And thanks to Anthony Stangers, just told us the Pioneers are on top of the ladder at the moment.
Yeah.
I'll put the challenge out to him. When was the last time the Pioneers were on top of the under-18 competition ladder?
If they ever have been. Not sure, but good. Good to see.
Some of the better players across the game today for the Gold Coast Suns, who were victorious. Thought that Michael Selsby had a great first half of footy. Didn't see too much of it in the third quarter. Got a bit of it in the fourth. The skipper, Connor Buderick, I thought played a solid game as well. Who are your best?
Yeah, I'd like to add to that Ethan Dawson and Josh Gore around the forward line, both noted goal kickers. Conroy in the ruck did a pretty good job up against the Cumming boys. And for the Northern Territory, there was flashes of brilliance throughout. But before we do that, we'll go to Siobhan Rowe in the centre of the ground.
$2 my way.
I'm here with Josh Gore from the Gold Coast Suns. That was a great win first up. How was it playing in the NAB League for the first game?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Good bunch of guys out there. Good opposition. They kept it to us all game, I reckon. Just grinded the whole time, so it was pretty good.
What was the message from the coaches before the game?
Just don't take them lightly, I reckon. Just because we touched them up a couple of years in a row, that they'll come out firing. And they did that. Respect to them. It was pretty good, yeah.
Can you just talk us through what it's like being part of the Gold Coast Suns Academy?
Yeah, it's really good. We pride ourselves on being elite, united and respectful. So throughout the whole ages is pretty good. We're one club with the seniors, get to interact with them a fair bit, so it's pretty good.
And individually you had a great game today. Can you talk us through your role?
I'm just a small pressure forward that gets up there, just get in and about, a bit of mongrel sort of attitude, yeah. So it's pretty good. Good to get on the board.
And how did you find the conditions? Obviously it became very windy partway through the game.
Yeah, so that affected the way we played in the third quarter. We were kicking over too much and it was just holding it up, so we just had to be direct. In that last quarter we ran them off their legs, just kick long and get onto it.
Thank you so much for the time and good luck for the rest of the Academy series.
Thanks, Ace. Thank you. Thank you.
Good work, Siobhan. And
got the movie star looks, Josh Gore, hasn't he?
and he got the movie star looks, and part of his job's just to be the mongrel. That's good. I haven't heard it described in that fashion, but I know exactly what he meant. Scores correct here, 12-10-82 to 5-8-38. A triple header, first for us today. Fantastic work. Thanks to all the guys taking the pictures on the cameras up here in the room next door and downstairs with Siobhan. Thanks to Spencer back in the pushing all the buttons and all the guys that helped put it all together today. Special thanks to Kevin Sheen, who organised all those interviews throughout the day. Sensational. Learnt a lot today. And I wasn't kidding when I wanted to ask Luke Power for his autograph. I really did want it, but I didn't know how to approach it. And well done to Rick, Matt and Phil Crooks. We'll be signing off from Blacktown. We'll be back next Sunday from beautiful Bendigo, one of the prettiest grounds in Australia to play and watch football from. You have been watching the live stream of NAB League Under-18 footy and the start of the Under-18 Championships Division 2. We'll talk football next Sunday.